Hello guys, this is Avcoor, and I actually want to talk about one of the characters, Lina. Since their banner's coming around, and I never got a chance to do a character overview on Nola and Lina, I want to start with Lina first because this is a good opportunity for me to catch up on those videos. And I would like to say the first thing about Lina is I think she's one of the best PvP characters in the game, hands down. I don't see too many wizards doing as much as her or being as effective as her. There are, I think Nola's a close second. I think, in my opinion, that Atum is more PvP, and I'll talk about him later. But right now, I just want you to get in your head that you're looking at a long-term unit. There is nothing short-term about her PvE prospects. In fact, 2 years down the line, this game is still up and running. You'll see her still being used by content creators. So let's go into her stats, and I'll explain to you why
태어날 때부터 모든
she is
것을
so good.
잘하는 사람은 없어. 수많은 실패가 지금의 나를
Stats are the first thing
이끌었지.
you want to look at when you assess the character's value. We'll go into her other skills, but when you look at her stats, you see the building blocks of what a good spellcaster should be. First of all, her magic attack is S, where it should be. Her physical defense is C, which is kind of on the low side. That is a concern. That kind of weakens her PvP prospects because AoE is a real thing with the archers like Erica and the red archer, who everybody said was bad, but we see her in PvP. So with that in mind, that stat is a detriment to her PvP prospects. But as far as PvE, it's not so bad because you can actually manage it with team building and her talent. Her her HP is B, which is pretty good, especially for a wizard class because they tend to have low HP stats. Her magic defense is really good for tanking, and I'll talk about that in a separate video about baiting. One of the reasons why, just on a basic level, she's really good in PvP because of that magic defense stat being so high. And when you compare it to other units, her magic defense actually stacks a little higher than them. And her concentration is important because she's a single target damage dealer, and concentration is important to get those critical hits to maximize your damage potential. That's why she one shots consistently for me. If you look at my videos, you'll see her perform in that way. Yeah, so stat wise, she's pretty solid with two S stats, one A stat, and one B stat and HP. Pretty good. Physical defense is bad. Physical attack is not relevant. So her unique passive is Ice and Snow. These are where things start getting pretty good. Increases magical attack by 15% when above 70% HP. This is super important for her as I said in an earlier video concerning wizards. Good wizard unique passives increase their magic attack or their magic damage dealt. So that's important. Another aspect of this unique talent, which makes her super good long term, is after dealing damage during her turn, she can move two additional tiles. That's Kanto, and Kanto is almost divine in any strategic game. And the fact that she has this as a passive that you can't turn off is really cool. It really opens up a lot of slots for equipment and stuff. So this is like the Leon of Wizards. I can't believe they made a character like this. I mean, it's just bananas. It really is just bananas. So let's go into her skills. First thing I will say is that she has some really good passes for a wizard class, which is kind of weird. Like this one is really good. At the end of an action, if a skill was used, apply slow to an enemy within 3 tiles for 2 turns. That's really good. If you hit a tank, that means they can't block their units, and we have a lot of tanks on the opposing side in this game, unlike Landaggressor. So this gets a lot of value. Get a lot of value out of that. And Ice Power, I don't think is as good, but it's situational. But the fact that she can deal increased damage against a slow enemy. Slow is not a hard stat to put on an opponent. As you can see, as we'll talk about with her skills, slow is not a hard stat to put on her opponents. So if you plan things right, you can actually utilize this. It's not the best passive, but it's really good. Frozen Blood is really good as it deals 1.3 solid magic damage to a single enemy in a fixed sealed. Sealed actually is disabling passive, so that's really good. This is a really good skill. I use it all the time. I use a combination of 2 skills I'll talk about later. Deals 30% damage against slowed enemies. That's why this kind of loses a little bit of effect. When you already have it in here, really good stuff. This is her AoE, which I for the longest I never used, but I use it now as certain maps actually require AoE, and this is super important because it actually inflicts slow consistently, which makes this skill work and this skill work. So a good combination is this, and this, because you're actually getting 20% plus 30%. So that's amazing damage out of this combination, and this lasts for 2 turns, which is super cool. She has a really solid strategy in her overall skill construction, which is really insane. It only gets better from here as she comes with a leadership skill for whatever reason. She is so much like Leon. She's just a spell casting version of Leon. She even gets a freaking uh, I call it faction buff for this leadership skill on this game, which gives you the stat increase. And when your HP is at 100%, you get physical 15% increase in physical and magic penetration. That's amazing. This makes her so versatile, and PvE content is unreal because you can actually have Lohiness as your healer, so that fills up one slot, and you can actually have Charlotte as your DPS, and it's really amazing. Even if you want to, you could have the blue tank. So she's a real cornerstone of good water teams because of her leadership skill, which it's kind of weird for her to be such a dedicated DPS because in this game, leadership skills don't take up a skill slot. So she still can perform her function as a DPS and yet still buff the party, which is unnatural. She's unnaturally good. This is okay. This is one of her weaker passives, but it still has value as in certain content, mainly PvE, you want to drop the attack of bosses so they don't splatter you because in this game the bosses have so much DPS that these skills are more coveted than it would be on a game like Landaggressor or Heroes of the Crown. So this debuff is really appreciated. So this is really good. I haven't got it yet, but the damage on this skill is 1.5, which is really good. It gets slow 3, mobility -3, no escort. That's like for a PvP tank hitting. Highly valuable, highly coveted skill. I just can't imagine a character as well built as her. for a specific design and purpose. It's really good. This is her ultimate skill. Once again, she is an AoE, but you get panic this time, which decreases the damage they inflict, and you get slow, which is really good. The damage modifier is a bit low, but the range is like 3 tiles, so it's acceptable. So those are all her skills. But let's talk about her a little more, and then we'll close it out. First of all, let's talk about characters that you, as a player, would like for her to have around her, and then we'll go into equipment. So let's go to glossary.
새로운 세계.
Charlotte is actually one of her best allies, as she provides buffs, because Charlotte doesn't have a leadership skill, nor does she really want one. But the buff she provides actually works with Charlotte as a DPS, because Lina, in and of herself, can overpower people and still deal damage to colors that she's weak against. She can actually one-shot seminars. I've seen it in PvP. Well, bit Lina can actually one-shot seminars. So for you to have these two characters together is not such a bad idea. In fact, it's kind of preferred, because her buff allows Charlotte to wreck everything. Another character that I would like to talk about is Lohannes. Lohannes is probably one of her best allies, for the simple fact that Lohannes is a water-based healer, so he fills in that slot for her leadership skill that you would want, that otherwise would be cumbersome, because you don't want 3 DPSs on one team. That's terrible. But since Lohannes is a healer, he does not occupy that slot. So when you team build, you can put Lohannes, her, and another unit like Charlotte, and you'll be fine. That's why he's actually kind of preferred. But outside of that color, a lot of characters would like to benefit from her. And one of her best teammates is Gabriel. Gabriel's leadership skill actually requires you to have a spellcaster and a ranger. And of course, Lina's a spellcaster, so she easily fills that slot for your team. And Gabriel benefits from characters being slowed down, so when a group of enemies are AoE by Lina, that means their mobility is slowed down, and you can position it so Gabriel only gets hit by 2 people instead of 3 people and gets killed. Because you'll learn later on in this game that mobility and positioning matters. And since Lina can control the battlefield, it allows Gabriel to take less pressure from the opposing enemy. So I want you to understand how teams work, that someone like Lina actually benefits from Gabriel. Lina, Gabriel, and Charlotte actually make a strong core. They're pretty much what I use on my team. So even like Ballet benefits from Lina. Tanks benefit from Lina. As first of all, she can slow down the enemies that come at you, so you're only engaging 1 to 2 people. But also, Lina can actually cancel her way back into the safety of that tank. So the 2 strongest classes that support her are healers and tanks. Another healer that we'll talk about is Clefairy. Clefairy is probably another core member of a team that would have Charlotte, Lina, probably Brownie, but that's not even required. If you have Clefairy, Gabriel, Lina, and Seminar, that works fine. Clefairy just gives her an extra turn because she can canto her way back into safety, so you can watch and repeat and not have to worry about her positioning. Excuse me. So, yeah. Let me see who else would like to. Black is good too
나의
because
사명은
Black actually can deal
인간의
damage.
고난에서
This is
벗어나게
the
하고
last person
이
that I'll
세계를 가득
mention.
채운
Well,
절망의 몫을
Catch
고개
is
숙이지
good
못해?
too
잘
because she
들어.
feels in a
나
tank
캐시의
spot
협조를 바란다면
because
내가
she's a blue
시키는 대로
tank.
해.
So I'll mention
알겠으면
her,
큰 소리로 예하고. 나의
and I'll mention
사명은
Belette because she's
인간을
a fire
고난에서
healer
벗어나게 하고 이
where
세계를 가득 채운
she deals
절망의
damage.
목소리가 사라지게 하는
So
것이지.
when you build a party, you don't have to worry about elements because Belette actually can deal solid damage. She has the stats in order to actually deal consistent damage and heal people at the same time. So she fills in the healer spot, and you have Lina fill in the DPS spot. Another honorable mention is Ivan
이
Atar,
흑매왕의 어전에서
as he's an
가난하게
AoE
내 인내심이
assassin,
바닥나기 전에
and he
끝내는
fills in
게
the water
좋을
spot
것이다.
to get the buff that she provides. But Ivan Atar himself has a buff that benefits Lina. But last but not least, let's talk about equipment and runes.
아비아파에 태어날 때부터 모든 것을 잘하는 사람은 없어.
As far as equipment goes, this is the set that I use. I'm actually coming late into this game, so my equipment is not where it should be, but anything that increases her magic attack is preferred. That's why I have the Soul Vessel on her. Anything that increases her magic attack is preferred on her. That's why I gave her the Brooch of Blue All. And she wants as much HP and defense as she can get. You don't really have to invest in magic defense that much. That's one of the better aspects of her character is the fact that because her magic defense is so high, you don't have to really invest in it. But runes, she wants she wants the wands rune because it increases damage done when using skills, increases damage done by 5% when using range skills. So this is the thing that she wants because it increases her overall damage output. A secondary rune can be clock or let me see, where's it at? See if it's here. Clock are magic eyes because one gives her magic defense penetration and one gives her magic attack. But what you're looking at on these runes is high magic attack. Magic defense is negligible. Physical defense is sacrosanct. HP is sacrosanct. HP and magic attack is really good. This is why I'm keeping that one. Magical attack and physical defense. This is really good. This is why I'm keeping that one. I'll probably change this one because I do not like the fact that it's only giving her magic defense. I don't like that, but the rest are pretty solid because she's getting HP here, she's getting HP here, she's getting defense here. And those are the stats she preferably wants. But like I said, my overall assessment of this character is she is one of the best characters in the game. And if you started this game late, you actually can get her out of the 3. And my suggestion is you actually get her over Nola. Nola is really good, and I'll talk about her in the next video. But you want a character that you can use in various forms of content. In various PvE content, she performs extremely well, even getting past her elemental weaknesses. But when you hit level 40 and 45, she can no longer clear green content, the lightning levels. She can no longer do that. I've tested it myself. But she can go against the water bosses till level 50. So at level 50, she's going to taper off after that. And you're going to have to use a fire unit. I mean, you're going to have to use a lightning unit. So that's how good she is. She can clear content. She's solid in PvP because she actually can cancel her way to safety. But there's other characters that perform better in PvP. And we'll talk about that later. But if you like my content, hit the like, share, and subscribe button, and I'll get back to you. And you have a great day, and goodbye.